techniques in Agile business analysis. Product roadmap, that's a very important artifact that you need to work with the product owner as BA, product owner, product team. So product backlog, very important. Backlog is where you chuck all your requirements, your tasks, your defects, everything comes into the backlog. That gets prioritized, and then they turn into user stories. You write user stories and then tasks, and then you create wireframes. We talked about it already in the last few sessions. Models, you create models, prototypes, depending on where exactly you are. You help with user testing as well. So you conduct, as we were talking about the other day, you create profiles, personas, screeners, you go ahead with user testing, talk about all these aspects of the product. You get the feedback from the users, put them back into the roadmap. And then backlog, so prioritize. And then the release plan is basically to help understand, again, as we were talking about the other day, it gives you the perspective of the major release, minor release. When do you want to actually go with the release? Is it actually every month, or is it going to be every 6 months? What goes in there? All of these are part of the release plan management. So quickly, it's all about roadmap, is all about strategy, business case, a high level thing. So it gives you aligns with the business plan, and then you actually get to each of these plans. You say, I want this 2 features to be released by September or by April, you say, and then you come up with what kind of plans, what are the feature lists, what are the epics, big level epics or mega over requirements, and then you actually break it down into the respective themes and stuff like that. And then you do prioritization, the Moscow prioritization, must have, should have, could have, and will not have. We'll have a quick look at that. We'll do the prioritization from the business point of view, from the technology point of view. That's called grooming. So that's a term that you actually hear a lot in the context of product and ITBAs. So it's called grooming the backlog. You need to know what is grooming a backlog. It's all about how you move things, important and urgent items up and down, so you know that it is relevant in that context. And then you're talking about user stories. We've had a look at it already. I don't want to. The 3 C's, the cards, conversation, confirmation, the invest principle again. So, and wireframes, we're going to have a deeper look at these wireframes, mockups, sketches. We already discussed the importance of these in the context of the BA role. So models, again, we discussed this. Very important to create models, whether it is data model, application model, or even the use cases and the UML models. Prototypes, very helpful for taking the feedback from the users. They're the dynamic versions of the wireframes. User testing, iterative, it's about getting the early feedback from the user. It's not about the waterfall type where you take 2 years to develop a product, then go to them and they say, no, this is rubbish. I don't know how it works. So you actually typically spent the whole 2 years doing nothing which is of value to the users. So that's the reason why I insist on the user testing. Remember that test early, test more, test with real users, test often. So that kind of methodology. We should go to the users often to try and get the feedback from them in terms of how our product is working. And also the release plan is about deployment. When are you going to deploy? That's where the DevOps and the Agile, how it works tightly with the Agile methodologies, the pipelines and DevOps, all of these are really helpful. Again, I'm going to discuss those in detail in the next few sessions of the dive deeps. So then we'll talk about the going to market, when are we going to go live, what are the release plans, what are the kind of major release, the TikTok, we talked about the Apple TikTok strategy, so something similar. So that gives you a kind of a quick overview. We'll quickly jump into this is something which we briefly touched upon the last time, critical success factors, how you measure what you're trying to do, the KPIs, key performance indicators, and the performance targets. So I don't want to spend much time on this, but basically just to give an idea, the CSFs are the ones which actually are or the industry standards. So you say, I want to measure the customer satisfaction. I want to measure the amount of waste that we're generating. So that's the basic CSF. And once you set up that as a basic measure, the metric for that is the key performance indicator. It says, for example, for the customer retention rate, improved customer retention rate says how much percentage of existing customers you can actually kind of go in the repeat ones. You say, I want 30%. I want 30% increase. That's a KPI. So that's what you're actually measuring your performance on. And then the performance targets are basically, it says 60% of sales revenue from existing. So it actually is a number. So it's not just about woolly things. It's basically giving you a number. And so this is the most important one. It actually gives you a figure. So this is strategic, the CSFs. KPIs are more of a tactical, and then the operational level, you're talking about the performance